City Jazz Sessions is about great music, arts, and entertainment. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, and available to performance art lovers worldwide. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. You can email us at cityjazzsessions@gmail.com.
All right, I am Laika with City Jazz Sessions, one of your hosts. Also, Leon Davis and Warren Harper Jr. is in the background. And we have today Bluesman, Marquise Knox. Thank you, Marquise, for being on. How you doing today?
Doing very well. Thank you all for having me.
Absolutely. I got my blue on,
Yes.
as I was instructed. So,
Ooh,
I didn't know about that, Blue.
man.
I know. Sorry, Leon. I meant to tell you, but
see.
I mean, yeah, we didn't get that message.
So she gets
You know
to look
what?
good, and we
But
get
I'm
to
on
just show
camera,
up.
so hey.
it was enough for me to just remember myself. Okay, let's just start with that.
All right.
But we have so many things to talk about today. I want to get into some of your music. You got an event coming up, Knox Entertainment event coming up this weekend. So I want to talk about that. But let's just first talk about some of your accomplishments, because I feel like a lot of people, they don't really want to hear what you want to say, what you say, unless they hear what you've done, like, and who you
Right.
are. So I know you've done some touring. You have 3 records. You told me you got a lot more unreleased music out. Just tell us, 30 years old, already have done so much in your field. So just kind of tell us a little bit about you, some of your accomplishments as a musician.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born February the 8th, 1991, St. Louis, Missouri, of course. Product of the Ferguson Florissant School District, Airport Elementary, Berkeley Middle School, McClure South Berkeley High. I can say I've been lucky. I can say I've really been blessed. At 13, I recorded one of my first records here locally in town called Mississippi Delta Boys. And then right after that, I did another one about 15. I recorded Rise Up, and then I did 3 national. Also, I've directed this with Lazy Lester, Hosea Washington. There's just a couple older guys. Charlie Musselwhite. I opened up for B.B. King, Lattimore, Sir Charles. You just about name these people. You know, I've been there and done it. Most proud of staying true to St. Louis blues. You know, I think that's my biggest accomplishment, really, being a blues man and staying true to the roots. And I don't feel boxed in or confined by that title. You know, most guys, they feel, you know, like they're encased or something, you know. But for me, that is as broad as I need it to be. The blues is the Black experience, all of that. And I'm proud to have family come from Mississippi and Arkansas. Great-great-grandparents come out of slavery. Great-grandparents birthed right into, you know, Jim Crow and all of this stuff. My grandmother, she comes through the sharecropping system. So I'm lucky to be here. I'm proud to just be a member of this diaspora.
Wow, 13.
Yes.
13, and you have a song called like, Can a Young Man Sing the Blues?
Mm-hmm.
At 13, when I think of blues, and I think when a lot of other people think of blues, they think of older men singing it, older women, people who have been through something, right? Because even like soul music, a lot of times you hear that soul, you feel that soul because of what the person has been through. What, like, at 13, how do you think that came out? Because tell me, like.
Well, like I said, I come from a blues family. So
Right.
I come from, and then we got an older family. My grandmother was the last of, I think about 6 or 7 kids. And then she didn't start having kids. You know, the whole family was having babies in 1940s, 50s, and 60s. And my grandmother didn't start having kids till 68. And my grandfather, my grandfather's 20 years older than my grandmother, you know, so.
Wow.
So, you know, when you add all of these things up, older branch of people, you know, got a younger set of kids all of a sudden. I remember my great uncle would come to the house all the time, her brother, and would play the guitar. And every time I hear the guitar, I would jump up. I could be sleeping. I'd jump up out of bed. Uncle Cliff is here. I know he is. And so in 1994, my grandfather was down in Kinston, and my great uncle told my grandfather told my great uncle. He said, Cliff, he said, if that boy had a guitar, he'd learn how to play. My granddaddy and my uncle said, you think so, old man? He said, I know he will. So my uncle kept that promise. I got in the third grade, and I was doing all this air guitar and stuff. And the teacher said, Marquise, we want you to, take part in the Black History program. I said, yes, ma'am. Only problem is I didn't know how to play. I go home and I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, I got a problem. She said, what's wrong, baby? Looking all concerned. I said, I told the teacher I know how to play the guitar, and I don't. She wanted me to play at the school program. My grandma slapped me. She said, get off my face, lying to that woman like that. And I went out and, played in the driveway. Couldn't get on grandma's grass. That's a whole nother story. But I was in the driveway, and I seen the Filter King cool smoke come out the window. I seen the Pepsi go up and down in the windowsill. I said, the old lady got to be thinking about it. 30 more minutes went by, and I heard a guitar in the house, and I come in. And then from there, I start playing a song, Rock Me Baby, No Baby You Don't Have to Go, which was my favorite song. And my nickname is Jimmy, and Jimmy Reed wrote that song. So from there, it was on and popping. My uncle had a heart attack in 2001. I went and stayed with him. And I don't know what happened. One day, me and him was talking to each other. And he said, boy, I thought you told your grandmother you want to be just like me. I said, I did. He said, well, you better straighten up and fly right. So from that moment, I tried to pattern myself after my great uncle. I tried to do everything that he did, every mannerism, the respect, the way he carried himself. I wear undershirts to this day because of him. A lot of guys my age don't even believe in that stuff. So little things like that, and that helped me become a man quick and early on. Family used to go to Pruitt's Farm out here off 360, off of 370, and pick purple hub peas and okra and all this stuff. And they had me out there young. So
wow.
This is, it's in me. It's foundation.
Yeah, and even your voice, like when you said you were born in St. Louis, I thought, no way. Like I was thinking Mississippi because you just have that Southern voice. I mean, you could just talk and I would think you sing the blues. Like
most people think I'm from Mississippi, but I tell them no. I used to want to be from Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time I used to tell people, yeah, I'm from Mississippi. Then I really took pride in being from St. Louis because when you really look, going back to the Great Migration out of the South, we may think that it's dangerous for Black folks in the South, but the dangerous place to be Black in America still is in the Midwest. The most popular killings happen here in the Midwest. A majority of all of the killings that have made national attention come out of the Midwest. Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, these things are Philando Castile. This is in the heart of the Midwest. And so I take pride in knowing that I think my blues is influenced by that because this is the epicenter of Blackness. I know the South, they're concentrated in great numbers, but I think this is where the story of our people is really taking shape in the Midwest.
Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. And I love so whenever I hear you sing, it's just so authentic, regardless of how, you being a younger musician and starting younger, you can't tell that whenever you sing, it just comes out, that experience that you're living and seeing and that you're talking about, our experience. It just comes out so authentically when you sing and when you play. And I just love that about what you said about St. Louis Blues. To me, you're the face of St. Louis Blues. We just had Brian Owens on last week, and we mentioned you because you're doing music at the intersection. And I said, oh yeah, we're gonna have Marquise Knox, the legend. And I was like, oh well, maybe he's not a legend yet because he is kind of young, but he's definitely a legend in the making. And he was like, well, when it comes to St. Louis Blues, you do you don't talk about St. Louis Blues without talking about Marquise Knox.
I appreciate that. Now, Brian, that's my brother. We bumped into each other a couple weeks ago. You
Yeah,
know, we got to have lunch soon. Matter of fact, now that I think about it.
absolutely. Yeah. In when we talked about Alonso, and you guys are doing so much, not just for music in St. Louis, but also the city as a whole. All the efforts to improve the St. Louis music scene, improve the community. So I just really value and appreciate what you guys are doing. So
Thank you.
So,
Well, my biggest thing is equity amongst the artists and amongst them, because this pandemic really proved one thing, a couple of things, that the clubs could say it all the time. Well, we bring in the people. Well, I think we just found out what happened. That it's not necessarily the clubs who bring in the people, that it is actually the bands that get on stage and perform and make the clubs who they are. Club is just a building. It's just a house of relics until
yeah,
somebody get on the inside and operate it. And so that's how I felt, even with this event happening in the Loop. It was an equitable transaction. It wasn't something where they treated Marquise Knox as a commodity and said, well, we just want to purchase the talent, come in and do what you can for and get out the way. It was actually something where we sit down and say, well, how can we make this long term? How can we make it equitable? And two, how do we take care of artists that may not get the shake like some of the rest of artists in town? We have to look out
mhm,
for everybody. So that's where I've been
absolutely.
at.
Well, let's go ahead and go right into Loop in Motion.
Yeah.
So okay, so Knox Entertainment, what is that exactly?
Well, Knox Entertainment, this is my booking company, which books me. It's production, it's all of that. Anything that got to do with live stage and sound and anything of that sort. That's what Knox Entertainment is. It's a hub of blues. I book myself through it. I run all my business through it for as if people want to kind of like make a little room between Marquise Knox, man,
Gotcha.
Knox the brand, and then Knox Entertainment, which is the house of all of this stuff. So that's what Knox Entertainment is. It's just a creation I had in mind.
Well, that's
well,
perfect.
let me ask you a
So
Yeah.
question about
go
your
ahead.
entertainment company. So, so how many people do you have employed with you? Is it just you, or do you?
Well, it's me and my band. So there'd be three guys. Sometimes, I may get another player, but a lot of times, like I'm putting on these shows right here, of course, the money comes through me, but then I'm booking these people. So then that comes through Knox Entertainment. And so I'm able that way to hire, maybe not on payroll, but they're independent contractors. They get that 1099 because they're gonna get over $600 when they mess with me. I'm gonna make sure you get a tax bill.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it go. Mainly it employs me and my band, but outside of that, it does a great deal for the music community, and I think it does an even better deal for the blues. I don't feel in competition with the National Blues Museum or the St. Louis Blues Society, because I feel like what I'm doing is it's in a different lane, because it's dealing in blackness, about blackness, and I don't shy away from that. That's why I don't join no organization, because sometimes when you get on these places, they want to hear the story, they want to hear the pain, but people don't want you necessarily put that blackness out there in front of everybody else. I put the blackness out there in front of male and female, because blackness is unique to me in America. That is, this is something we can't hide. I don't care what other adjective you put in front of you. You could be a doctor, you could be a fireman, you could be a musician, you can be a preacher. When trouble come, trouble see you as blackness, or when trouble find you, it's gonna catch you as black. So that's where I find myself.
I heard that.
So, how long have you had your production company?
Well, I've been had this particular company since 2013. 25th, well, about 2005, I had met this lady, and she really, I give credit to her. She, white lady in St. Charles. I was playing the St. Charles Duck Club yacht, and she really took a liking to me. So, Marquise, I want to invest in you. First thing she did was help me get a bank account and set up my LLC, and then from there, uh, like any other artist, I had my ups and downs, foolishly believing in this person, believing in that person. Yes, I had to learn the hard way. And then 2012, we went to Switzerland, and this is no knock against my manager at the time, but I just have to tell the story as it is. It was just, we were just getting to the end of the road, and Michael Burks had passed away, and he had a song come out called "Feel Like Going Home." And I remember that day at the show, I was selling my CDs, and my manager was around there selling CDs. I said, "Now hell, that's too many people trying to sell a Marquise Knox CD." And now, you know, I'm hot, and I'm thinking about this record. My friend and died and all this stuff. I go back upstairs, and I tell him practically, I said, "Man, you know, I want my money." Then from there, I told my drummer, I said, I'm not naive. I know how this stuff works. I said, when we decided to separate, I said, the people not going to like it. I said, in the industry, they're going to talk to their friends. I said, I'm going to have to rebuild myself back up. I said, this is going to be a slow process. I said, but it's going to be a true process, and it'll be a process. Nobody can tear me down once I do it like this. And it sure enough happened. People got mad because I canceled again because they were sent my manager the deposit, and we was having a problem with that. So I just took the onus. I canceled everything and then started over from scratch. And then from there, you know, I'm right here. I believe in taking those big leaps of faith like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a smart move.
Yeah.
And how old were you then?
Oh, well, about 20. About 22, something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was just with that particular thing, but I've been booking myself practice all, you know, most of my career. I had a manager maybe for like about 2 years, I say. But even at that time, we were working side by side. So everything that I learned in this business has come from trial and error and more error than anything. And I learned a great deal about being a recording artist. You know, I thought all you had to do was record and sending stuff out. You know, I found out there was a deeper process, even past the copyright. You know, to make sure you got to the international standard recording codes and all of this, having it embedded. So I lost a lot of money, and then when about, I don't know, 2017, 16, 17, I went to Iowa. We played at the Bowl Full of Blues. And the contract stated, said the Iowa Public Radio going to come out and record the set. I said, okay. I didn't think nothing about it, and I never tell the guys if we're going to be recording. Sometimes, you know, the band thinks too much, you know, when they know for certain people going to be recording. So we went and did the show, and the guy handed me the CD, and I put it in on the way back home. And I think it might have been Mike the drummer. He said, "Man, those guys sound good." I said, "Those guys sound good." I said, "That's us." He said, "No." I said, "Man, this is what we just got through recording, man. I've been performing." He said, "No way." And so for $250, I brought the recording and owned all the rights to it, and I made Black and Blue. That's when I really stepped out and said, I'm gonna try my hand in, you know, on the recording side. And I did good. You know, some of the people said, "Marquise, well, you should get with a record label. You should do this and you should do that." I said, "Well, yeah, you know, I could sell 15, 20, 30,000, you know, units, CDs, but if I sell $3,000 or $5,000 on this poor man scale and I don't owe nobody a dime, I'm gonna make more money than when they made if they sell 50,000." So see, those are little things that I had to learn along the way, not to get, you know, too dewy-eyed about lights.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the music is one thing and the business is another. But you have to have, you know, you have to be savvy in both.
You do.
So let's go back to the Loop in Motion. That's this weekend, September 11th and 12th, right? Okay, so let's talk about first of all, this is a free festival, right? I mean, no cover charge, no tickets.
No cover. Bring your family and friends and kids out. We're gonna have inflatable for the kids, you know, bounce houses and all this stuff. Beer garden for the parents, and you know, fits right there. You come get your root beer float and all of that stuff.
Nice.
You know, it's centered around, you know, family, friends, and St. Louis music.
And let's talk about some of the artists that you have. And I know you're performing on that Saturday, correct?
Saturday, that's right.
Okay. And then let's go through some of the other artists.
Yeah, we're going
to be there.
Brian Karen, he's gonna open it up, and then we're gonna have the Slums. That's Saturday lineup. The Slums, and then One Time, that's Kenya. She's a
Hmm.
nice female singer. See, we tried to have to make sure we represented the ladies too. We just didn't
Yes,
bunch
we
of rough
appreciate that.
days. See, I kept all that in the back of my head. Then we're gonna do the
You
red
got
and
red and black.
yeah, the red and black brass band and an all star blues band. That's gonna have Eugene Johnson, Sharon Fona, John McVeigh. Gonna have a lot of people.
Oh, nice,
Oh
nice.
yeah, because I figured I couldn't get all of the blues people uh, a job, but one way we could do it is if everybody come up with 2 songs, get out the way, and let everybody make a little money.
Hmm.
That's a little
Right.
better. And then I'll come up, and then the next day, Sunday, we're gonna have uh,
Smoking
smoking.
Lion.
Yeah, smoking lion band. That's my brother old dear. Then we're gonna have Casimir. No, Rhoda.
Rhoda G.
Rhoda.
Yep.
Rhoda G, and then Casimir Taylor, and then we're gonna have Zeta and my
Hmm.
brother Justin Hoskin.
Yes, and I know Justin. He is amazing.
Yes.
So it looks like you guys are starting on Saturday at 11.
Mm-hmm.
The evening is going to 7, and these bands are back to back to back. And then on Sunday starting at noon to 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if people can come out, it'll be open till like 9 o'clock, so it'll stay open 2 more hours after music is done, so you can still hang out and associate with your friends.
Yeah, and I saw that you have some giveaways too.
There's going to be a lot of giveaway, a lot of cards. I think they said $5,000 worth. I believe that's what uh, the total amount was.
Right.
Something.
Nice. And there's a fashion show. We don't want to forget about that.
And you got a fashion show, and then it's going to be a lot of some of the refugee ladies that were refugees. I don't consider them refugees anymore. Once you come here now, you're a St. Louis citizen.
Right.
So they're going to be there, hosting some of their food and work that they have. So it's going to be real.
Nice.
And I think they're going to be doing chalk on the sidewalk, so the kids can come up and down the sidewalk and just paint it up. This is one time. I mean, I think the kids should have a lot of fun. I think people with kids, they've been in the house during COVID, and you're ready to come out, and try it safely and for free. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I think this would be a good location to come out to.
Right. Yeah, no, it sounds very community oriented, family oriented. So nice.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Loop in Motion.
Loop in Motion.
11 through 12.
Yep.
And that same weekend, you also have music at the intersection. So busy.
Yes. Well, I got some folks didn't think I should did Loop in Motion this weekend as music intersection, but this is one of those things when I talk about equity. Equity goes a long way, and it doesn't mean any disrespect to what they're doing at the music intersection. It's just to put the city on notice that when the artists come together and the artists start talking, now necessarily you don't have to talk to the venue owner. You go and talk to the brands around St. Louis, the different major brands, the Urban Chestnuts, the Four Hands, and all the dispensaries and all these people that we have, and you get a business relationship working with these people, then you go back and tell them nobody's going to turn down the chance to make money, and I'm sure do that for anybody, and I'm not going to turn down the chance to represent St. Louis blues and the musicians, because as much as I am about the blues, I am a good back of the St. Louis scene, and of course my black brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like there's enough to go around. You know what I'm saying? There'll be enough people who are going to music at the intersection, and also your event. There's other events going on through the city. Even just this past weekend, we had the Roots here, there was Jagged Edge, there can be multiple music events going on, and they were all packed. So yeah, it's enough to go around. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I have gigs, but I'm gonna try to swing by on
I better see you
Saturday, Sunday, Sunday. And what night are you performing at Music at the Intersection?
Sunday at 8:15.
Okay, got it, got it. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
y'all, you're not doing nothing. Come on out. I don't know if you're familiar with the movie called the Mudslide. It's going to be coming out. It's Thurgood Marshall was a lawyer. This particular racial incident down in Tennessee um, put him on, launching to prominence. And so it was about a race rider. Lady took a clock in or radio in to get it repaired, and the guy would never repair it. And so he finally told the young man, he said, "Get your NB, your nigga mama out of here." And he hit the brother. And then from there was this big race ride. And one thing I like about the clip that they sent me, it was the duality of America. On one hand, it panned to the brother went home to the wife, and he got his gun and he putting his everything together, and he tell his wife, he said, "The night, this is where all this in the night." And his wife grabs him and said, "Honey, you can't do this. What about the baby and all the children?" He looked back at us and said, "Was you worried about them kids when I was fighting with the U.S. government in World War II?" And then it pans right over to the white brother going home to his wife. And then his wife was pretty much helping him put his clothes on, and said, "Honey, I'm praying for you." He said, "It ain't me that need to pray. It's them black folks that need to pray that we gonna come down there and see." And so I think this tells a lot in America. I think even no matter how voiceless you are as a black person, there's always something in us that's hesitant about the situation that we find ourselves in. We can't necessarily stream full, ahead like some of our brothers do, and come out unglued. Especially I know I can't, because my voice already loud and deep. So when I get upset, I go looking like a fool. My grandma said, "Don't nobody know what's going on. All they see is two fools standing there arguing." And so this movie, you're not doing nothing. The guys who wrote it is going to be there. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
They're gonna be at Music at the Intersection?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got them coming out as my guests. We have to make these connections with the history. There's so much history.
Yeah.
James Baldwin always used James Baldwin and Langston Hughes. They used the term blues to describe the condition of black people. The blues is not necessarily just the music. It's the overall ordeal that we find ourselves in.
Right. Yeah. So how would you define the blues? Like, is that how you would define it?
Yeah, to me, I define the blues as simple as I come from a very religious family, and so to play the blues is okay, but then you can't also know God and have Him in your heart and all that stuff. They told me and my cousin, "Y'all get away here with this storefront preaching." So I always looked at it like this simple. And God was talking to Eve and Adam, and he was telling them, about how they had sinned and all the dispensation of the discipline that's getting ready to come down. And when he kicked them out the garden, I said right then and there, Adam and Eve didn't have no gospel. That was the blues. The blues is the most secular feeling. It don't need no education to me. The blues is just that. It is how we felt. It is our story. It is the arrival here in America. It is being here in America, as Martin Luther King said. We know we've been here when they was undergirding people that was coming in from 1880 to 1925 and 1930, immigrating from Europe. At the meanwhile, we were still here building this house. And you got people who just first generation full-blooded American speaking English. His grandmama couldn't speak English, and then he gonna try to tell us to go back home somewhere. To me, that is the blues. The blues to me is a black experience. Don't need no support. Just that. It don't have nothing to do with God. Don't have anything to do with none of that, because what we went through, even if there was a God, you have to ask yourself, how to one get past this and get over this, and not with the help of your oppressors and his people trying to tell you how to feel. You have to figure out, how do you feel and deal with this, because this is in our psyche today. Some of us don't know how to deal with it. We see why some of these brothers are going out here shooting and killing each other. There was a
Right.
story about a man, I think he was about 17, 18 years old. And they went back in his family DNA and come to find out his family had syphilis. And this was passed down from his great grandparents all the way down through the bloodline. And it gave him a mental disorder. And so these are
Wow.
the things, you know, this to me, that's the blues.
Right.
That's the blues. These unknown truths.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Um, we talked earlier about you going on tour with ZZ Top.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to ZZ Top, but you know, the things that you're talking about now, those experiences are uniquely Black experiences. How do you think that white people relate to you and your music? Because I'm guessing you do have white fans.
Oh, I have
A lot.
a majority of my fans are white. I think the way they relate to it is the same way we relate to it. We know it happened. You can feel it. The scripture in the Bible said, "Oh, children of Israel, sing us a song of Zion, so we may remember." Sometime when you hear the blues take you back to a place and time which is nostalgia for some, painful for others, but it's nonetheless it is an experience. So I think when white folks particularly hear the blues, it takes them back to a place where a lot of them do have familiarity with, and they understand exactly what was going on in these times. And I think it's sometime in our Black families, mama and grandma and grandpa and great uncle, they went through so much, they didn't want to talk about this. Some families just didn't talk about it. You know, it was later on, you know, I found out my people then was getting raped, my great grandmother and all this stuff, because they did not want to talk about it. But in those songs, when you start singing about, if time don't get no better, down the road I'm going, everybody can kind of relate to that, because there's something going on right there in your personal that you wish you can pack up and leave. Now for us, it's racial. For them, it's maybe money or something like that. I think across the board, it's the same human experience. There's some
Right.
human feeling, but the
Mm-hmm.
experience may be a little different. And I think that's what they draw to the blues, is to get a better understanding of Blackness and why. You know, sometimes I think these things help them out more than it help us out.
So have you had any experiences where I don't know, maybe you've been called a nigger or
Oh
uh,
yeah, you know that. Um, Called the nigga. I had a, I had a was at the Bill on Broadway one night, and
hmm,
outside taking a break, and everybody know after when I go on break, the place to be is in the parking lot, because we getting ready to cut up on for them 15, 20 minutes, and then we go back in and we come out, and the Japanese man come out behind us, and he doing all like this. I said, yeah. He said, Marquise, good job. I said, thank you, brother. You know, feeling good, having me a shot. I keep a gallon of corn liquor with me. So I was passing that thing around, and he looked at me. He said, Marquise, you my nigga. And man, my family froze, man. I'm talking about guys 6'3" and 400 pounds. They look. And I said, what do you mean? He said, no, Marquise, I'm a nigga too. I said, oh, brother, I said, this, I said, let me give you a shot of this and get you on about your way. So, yes, I've done with it like that in a joking way. I've also got kin people, you know, that line is blurred like that. One fella told me, he said that they make me a nigga lover because we got Black in the family, you know, so you had to deal with that kind of stuff. Maybe not so much as being called a nigga, but I've definitely felt like it from my teacher told my principal. Now my teacher told me some one time and it stuck with me. She said, you know, your brother gonna pass you up in life. She said, you sitting here acting a fool and all this stuff. She said, he gonna pass you up in life, blah, 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 blah. And I remember feeling bad, like, man, why would the hell she tell me something like this? And then from that moment, I strive to be better, not just better than my brother, but I tried to be better than myself. At that
Yeah.
particular moment, I wanted to be better than everything around me. That's why I took the blues so serious. The one thing I knew I had No other man had it in the same way I've had it, and my way I come into it. I didn't have a daddy or mama who come out of the lineage of being a blues star. I come out of the community, which we the ones who keep the blues alive. We love B.B. King, Light and Hawk, and Muddy Water. Them, they are an example for the world. They out on tour. They got to have mom and grandpa, the community, us. We are the ones that back home keeping that fabric together, showing the people what the culture is. So that was some of my experience. I had run-ins with the cops and stuff like this. Like 2 years ago, I was coming down Highway 7, which I was speeding. I don't deny that, but that was just it. And the state trooper locked me up for 12 hours, in St. Charles County Jail. And so I had to wanted to give me a ticket and all this stuff. I got a lawyer, and the lawyers told him, y'all kept this man with, for no reason. And even inside the jail, the worst experience I had inside the jail was not even a white police officer. It was a black police officer who thought every damn thing was funny, messing with the inmates and all this stuff. Then got the nerve to talk about how he gonna go to church on Sunday and do all this stuff. I said, man, how you gonna go to church and you sitting here talking to these folks, and they wouldn't even let me make a phone call. And it just so happened this guy by the name of Greg Farris come down. He looked, he said, Knox. I said, Farris. He said, y'all don't know who you got up in here. This Marquise Knox. I said, tell him again, because I'm going to make his ass famous, but I didn't do nothing but it. So, yeah, that's some of my experiences, I try not to, I write from them. In my personal conversation with my friends, we talk about them. But I don't let those things hold me down. If anything, they make me more bold in the face of this kind of racism, this kind of white supremacy, because at the end of the day, my fan base is white. And you got to figure out how do you bring what matters to me. Now, I may matter to them because they like me and they spend their money on me. Now, that doesn't mean that has to translate and mean that because they love me and love what I do, that I have to be silent about who I am. You love me because of what I've been through and what I know, and you have to respect that. I wouldn't want anybody to feel like you should have to hide who you are. And I think a lot of blues artists do that. I think a lot of academics, everybody do this. When your life is tied to white supremacy, and our lives are tied to white supremacy on a deeper scale. You say the wrong damn thing and you out of your personal job right now. So, that's the way I take it.
What do you feel like keeps you that open? Because I've noticed you don't necessarily hold your tongue about anything. Like if you have a thought or opinion or stance on something, you don't shy away from sharing it.
No, because it kills you to hold it in. Why die with so much inside of you? You got to release as much as possible. Look at Tupac and all the music that the man recorded. That was somebody who didn't die with words trapped inside, even though he was a young man, and that's what I want to do. I tell him all the time, I got a conservative friend, and me and him become good friends now, and it takes it's like a relationship with a man and a woman to have something such extreme. You have to know. I would say conservative. I wouldn't say right wing because I think right wing is past conservative. But we talk about different things, and I tell him, as I told many of my white friends, I say I am my granddaddy's closed mouth. My granddaddy had to be quiet. He had to maintain and get the family to where we was at. Grandma had to be quiet to get the family to where they was at. I, on the other hand, don't have to be quiet. I'm not gonna be homeless. You know what I'm saying? We got a family house. I'm not gonna starve. We got food in the freezer. Family know how to cut hogs. We grow food in the backyard. So, I am my granddaddy's open mouth. So they have to take it or leave it.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to talk a little bit about music. So, like on your website, you have 3 albums listed. So the first one was the live album that you spoke about earlier. And then you have 2 more. And then I know you said that, so you got Man Child
And Here I Am.
and Here I Am. Yeah, and then Black and Blue. So tell us a little bit about those because it looks like Manchild was the first one, right?
Yeah, Man Child was in 2000.
9.
It was released in 2009. Well, we recorded that in 2007 in Salina, Kansas, December 16th, 15th, and 16th was 2 days. I'm going to try to jog y'all memory, but this particular time, it was a big ice storm had come all the way up Highway 70 from St. Louis all through Kansas, all the way up Denver, shut the highway and all this stuff down. So in Salina, everything had closed down except for the church. The church still had electric. And so I got up there, and a lot of those songs I wrote come from that experience. The one song called Ice Storm Blues. And I had my son, I was 16 years old, when my son was born. And so I was going through problem. I got this song on there. Sometime I wonder, will my baby ever come back home? Lord, I've been begging, please, 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 darling, won't you come back home? I was going through it. And I
Yeah.
never let that go out. And then even before I recorded that, how that even came about, I went down to, we went down to Clarksdale. And a guy by the name of Sam Lane, he used to be a drummer for Howlin' Wolf. Okay, he played drums for Howlin' Wolf, and then he got in Paul Butterfield, and they formed a band. Okay, we was down there performing all this stuff, and I started playing a little Light and Hopkins. Anybody know me know I started off on the more Delta side before I went and got this big band traditional sound. And so I'm playing this Light and Hopkins stuff, and he looked at me, he walked up, he said, boy, play some more of that. I played a little bit more, and he just took my knees and wings, and we back in the called the Shack 'em Up Inn. It's on this little plantation, Hobson plantation. And he said, I'm gonna get in touch with Chad. He said, I'm gonna put you on stage. He said, you're gonna be a big stage. You're gonna like this, Mark. He said, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm gonna try. Oh, I'm gonna do it for you. I'll be going back and forth with himself.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes later, he called me, Marquise, Chad getting ready to call you. And don't mess this up now. Don't mess this up. I said, yes, sir. I called, Chad called me. Hello? Dude, man, I heard so much about you from Sam Lay. I want you to come up here to Salina, Kansas, Blues Master the Crossroad. I said, okay. Well, I get up there and they got the original Muddy Waters band. That's Willie Big Eye Smith on the drum. James Cotton on the harmonica, Pinetop Perkins on the piano, Cabin Fuzz Jones on the bass, and I was sitting there next to James Cotton, and he said, son, go up there and do my sound check for me. I said, okay. He said, I just want to hear my vocal. I just want to hear my vocal harmonica and the monitor. I go up there and did that, and I come back down. I knew some of these guys. So Pinetop was about 90, I don't know, 2, 3 years old, somewhere along that line. And so we were sitting side by side, and this woman come downstairs. She said, Pinetop, do you remember me? He said, yeah, baby, I remember you. She said, what's my name? He said, your name is TK. She said, oh, my God, Pinetop, you do remember me. The lady walked away. He looked at me. He said, I call them all TK.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's something I learned right there. And
Right.
so from there, that's what I did good at that show. And that led to a recording contract. And I'm talking about this is October, recorded in December. He asked me, who you want to record with? You want to get Double Trouble, which was Steve Ray Vaughan band. Oh, he wanted to go down the list. I said, I want Michael Burks. I said, I want to record with Michael Burks. And I'm glad I did that. And then we come back and did Here I Am. The same studio, same place. Except for this time, unlike Manchild, I was just getting started. So I was taking advice and stuff from everybody else. Here I Am rolled around. I was giving out. I was like, no, look what we gonna do if you want Marquise Knox to record. So,
I heard that.
And you can kind of tell from Here I Am and Manchild, and then you can definitely hear it between, Here I Am and Black and Blue.
So that was Here I Am is 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and then Black and Blue is 2017.
Yep.
And then, so why the gap?
Well, I had started out. I said I wanted to record every year, and then an old guy told me, "Well, take pride." And he said, "Don't do that." He said, "Don't put out no record every year." He said, "You're gonna dilute. You gonna dilute yourself." He said, "Don't do it." He said, "Take time, put out stuff that's meaningful." He said, "If you want
Yeah.
to put out singles in between time." He said, "But this every year, 12 tracks." He said, "It's gonna sound like a circus out the Wild Marquise." And
Right.
and so I think when you listen at those songs, my songs have meanings. I mean, they don't sound. I mean, some of
Right.
them think they could be in the run of the mill what's going on, but the way I sing about it, it's not just play, lay, stay, hey, say, bay, and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's talking about something. That's
Absolutely.
and then these record labels been wanting me. Um, Talk to Alligator and Delmar, and I'm slow to move. I'm slow to move
Mm-hmm.
on anything. I think anybody know me personally know I have to make my mind up 100%. I can't, if it's not made up,
Yeah.
I don't have to. I won't do it. And so recording to me that's the lifeline of an artist. This is who you are. This will be left, forever and ever. And
Right.
I want to leave behind good music. I just don't want people to say, yeah, he took advantage of the fact that he could do it. No, I want good music out.
So
So
when
when are we gonna have new music?
Well, I do. I got enough. We've been debating this pandemic threw a little wrench in there, but we've been debating on do we do a double, CD or two releases because I have a blues side that's more traditional, and then I have a soul side it's not Southern soul, but it's St. Louis soul. So then I have that side, and then one thing that I've come in conflict with in my career is um, people say, well, Marquise, you sound like Light and Hop, you sound like Muddy Water, you sound like BB King. Then the moment you start sounding like yourself, well, then they say, well, this don't sound like traditional blues. So this sound like this over there. So the only way I could, beat this back is to make a blues album and then make a soul album. And I
So
feel like
which one is more you?
both,
Okay.
both, both.
Makes sense.
Anything I sing is me.
True. True.
when BB King stopped making music, people thought they were pretty much giving the blues its last leg. What do you
Yeah.
say to that?
No, I think what they mean by that is not used to BB King and all those guys. Of course, that kind of blues will die, because it comes with a generation. But the forefathers left the spirit and the vein in which it's done, and it's still passed down to people like me. Like I said, my grandmother was born 1932. My mother was born 1972. I was born 1991. So relative, my great grandmother died in 1969 at 105 years old. So I still got a connection to that, and that connection is still here, far as in the spirit, in the vein of it. So that kind of blues will die, but will the blues overall? No, because we got blues in this generation. I don't know why people don't think uh, we don't have the blues now. I mean, we probably got worse blues today than yesterday. At least you knew what was going on 100 years ago. You knew the definition of racism. You knew everything that was going on. You knew who was doing it. You knew why he was doing it. You didn't have to worry about no banker. You didn't have to worry about all this stuff. It was just a little cottage on that lonesome road causing all that hell. That's why I made that statement about the Midwest.
Mhm.
This is a different structure. Martin Luther King talked about it when he came up here. He said, whoa. He said, what kind of beast is this? Because it was structured. It was this wasn't no loose end stuff them country boys was doing down south. These folks had this together. Housing authority, the police, the banking, and all this stuff. So long as these conditions are around, the blues gonna always be here. Just about how it's going to sound, the story that's gonna be told. It's not gonna be talking about cotton, lynching, and all this stuff. We're gonna be talking about shooting, rioting, poverty, in the sense of I can't afford nothing to eat. I got a song, America Blues, on Man Child. that talks about America so beautiful, said it's the land of the free. It's getting so bad, a man can't hardly feed his family. You know, these are the things on Black and Blue. I got this song called One More Reason to Have the Blues. My light's been disconnected. My refrigerator won't hold my food. If my water flow, it ain't no damn good. I was talking about Flint, Michigan. You
Right.
have to be able to know how to put these things in here. That's the blues. I think that's why people think the blues are dying out, because when they hear it, it's not, blues artists aren't making it relative the way they should.
Hmm.
So, rap has, I don't know, like a weed. It has grown and it is in almost every genre of music. And probably the only genre of music, or one of the only few genres of music that I don't hear rap in, is in blues. Um, do you think that you would ever collaborate with a rap artist?
Oh yeah, my brother's Memphissippi. Uh, out of oh my goodness, they out of North Mississippi. Now they dab in that a little bit, rap and kind of blues ordeal. I think I do find myself wanting to do that. I got a good song in mind that I want to do it with. I always talk to my brothers that I grew up with. I say, man, y'all rapping. Come on, let's do something together. You know, 4 or 5 blues songs I have in mind. I do see that. I see that coming near and quick. I think the only reason you probably haven't seen it because they rappers do more sampling than they do really sit down and think about, man, we could do something with the blues. Nas did a good job of it, but we gonna by me being a blues man, I could get deeper than Nas. Now I'm not saying I'm the man who gonna rap. I may have to rap myself. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be good. Nah.
I'll
But
rap on it. I'll rap
music,
on it for you.
yeah, but the music wise, you know, you can bring it down deeper, you know.
Yeah. You know what? That would be neat to hear.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Off record, I tell y'all the song. I don't want to tell it on camera because I know them jokers will come and take that song and try to do it over. They send it to me, Marquise. Here it is.
Right.
But I think it's coming because the blues. They're going back again. South America, they love the blues. I'm talking about young people, 25, 30, 35, 40 years old, got the blues, playing the blues.
Hmm.
Um, they just can't sing the blues, and that's across the. But most of folks can't sing the blues. Hey, you got some
Right.
people can't sing the blues, and you
Yeah.
know that's bad. And so and then like Marcus say, you know what that means for everybody else. And
Right.
so, but they have it even in Europe. The young people have it there, and like you said, the rap culture and the blues culture exists in all impoverished nations. I went to Argentina in 2013 in February. That experience changed my life. I decided once I got back home, I would never not talk about poverty, um, the things that make one go into poverty, and the conditions and the problem that exists once you find yourself in poverty. And you know, I went to Argentina. We was in Buenos Aires, headed to La Plata, and they got on the highway, and it was just like shanty town central, and these people just had boxes and anything that you can find, car hoods and all this stuff just to make a home. And the guy was sitting in the doorway with his head like this, depressed. I could see it from the highway. And the kids was running around like nothing in the world was going on because they have yet to realize the condition in which they're in, but their daddy
Hmm.
know it. And that I said, I got to the gig and I told them guys, I said, y'all got to learn how to fight for these people, stand up for these people, speak for these people. I said, you playing my music, the blues. I said, and you gonna tell me you got the blues like I do, and you not gonna speak for these people who your brother who are in poverty. I said, that's what the blues look like. And man, we all start crying right there at the damn gig. It
Wow.
was that deep.
So
So
do
you've
you
done
do
a
you
lot of
read
traveling.
music?
Oh,
Do you
sorry.
believe in reading music? So I don't know if
Yeah,
you play sheet
I
music.
don't read music personally. I
Mhm.
know when I was in the seventh, eighth, ninth grade, okay, I read the bass line. I could read it for the bass guitar. Um, got to McClure South. I ain't gonna say my school was poor, just ill-equipped, and they didn't have no bass book. So that's when I had to read off the baritone. And then they had me marching around at the. I quit the marching band. They wanted me to do the bass. I didn't want to do the bass, so I started blowing the sousaphone. And so when I did that, and I kind of stopped. But for reading music, I think it has its place. You can get in there, and you know the note that you want to change to get that feeling, the dramatic feeling, to provoke emotion. That's good. But for me, I feel it. I don't know how to describe it. When I hear music, I can close my eyes, or I can have my eyes open looking plainly, and I can see the notes. I can see where they're placed at. I can see if it's done on the piano. I can see if it's done on the guitar. And I just take my time and I go back over what I visualize, and then that's how I get it. I've learned from my grandmother and great uncle, and I'm proud. The skills and the fact that I don't read. I tried to get some guys around town to teach me how to read. Not that I don't know chords and all this other stuff, but you want to get somebody that can help progress you along a lot quicker. And everybody turned me down. They say, Marquise, as good as you sound, we're not going to mess your sound up trying to do something like that.
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you talked a little bit about some of your travels. Besides kind of seeing poverty on like the upside, what if like just traveling, being young, because you started traveling pretty young, coming from St. Louis, going to other places, like what did you notice? Like what were some of your best memories from your
Well,
trip?
I can tell this. I don't have no shame in it. Went to Europe for the first time. I think that was 2010. My uncle, he was sick, and I um, knew he had cancer. So I was debating. I said, Lord, how am I going to take care of my uncle and do the 3 days after my birthday? My uncle died. Okay, so I go do the show in Europe, and I had got cut in the hand. Matter of fact, I don't, you can see it right.
Hmm.
I had got cut in the hand. And so I went to Europe all stitched up, and I had to get stitched up over there again because it bust open on me. And I remember just being there. We went to this town called Ointing, Germany, and guests had been signing this guest book, I think dated back to sometime in the 1800s. And me and the guys was the last four signatures that went in this book. And it was closed. And I thought that was good. We went over there to Switzerland, and that was good. And so the following year, they said, Marquise, come back. And this guy, the tour manager, doing his research on me. I was impressed. He said, Marquise, they told me you like to. No, he said, I know you like to smoke a little reefer. I said, I sure do. He said, here, he got the shit together, y'all. And the first time I ever smoked hash in my life, I'm not ashamed to tell this story. I'm sitting in in Germany, back at the same place where I was a year prior, and I'm thanking God foolishly with this joint in my hand.
Oh
I said,
no.
Lord, you have got me back in Europe again, and I took the biggest hit of my life, and I damn near fell out the window.
Oh
I,
no.
I was so embarrassed. I laid down on the bed. I told him, I said, man, I said, just let me lay here for a minute to get myself together. And then from there, I've had good experience. Everywhere I went has been a good experience. I haven't had uh, only one bad experience that I can think of. For as like it was bad. And you talk about when you asked me that Negro question, we was in Belgium. A guy walked up to me and said, Marquise, they stopped us from saying Negro and nigga and all of this stuff. And I meant to tell him, I said, well, they ain't stopped us from saying blah, blah, blah. And my drummer did me like this and pulled me out the club. But it was all good. We was in Belgium, even on that trip. We cooked our own dinner. We didn't want to eat out. We went to Aldi's and brought our own food. Um, 2 years ago, my last trip over there to France, maybe 3 years ago when we was in France now, a guy come up to me. He told me, he said, Marquis, he said, you Americans need to learn fraternity, brotherhood. And we sit there and talked about this. These are the things that I come in common with the most people who are, they love America. They love the people. They love us. and they just
Right.
want to talk about the situation. So everything has been good. I met mayors, I met important people, you know, just the life, just the
Yeah.
life that comes with.
And still
But
the
it
same.
it don't move me though. You know, I'd rather be back
Right.
home, damn gizzards, you know.
Right. Right. I mean, I've traveled for vacation, not for tour, but um, even like going to places like Berlin or Paris or London, and um, I still there's no place I'd rather be than right here. Like
Yeah.
it's just home, you know, for good or for bad, it's home.
And it get lonely. You know, I tell them guys, uh, I can see why some of the mega stars do drugs in such a heavy way, are depressed or suicidal, even kill themselves. When you, especially you're not touring in America, when you're touring in Europe or South America, and there's a language barrier,
Right.
and you out there and you party and you having fun with people, and y'all everybody doing the best they can to talk. You're gonna find a lot of people speak English, of course, but then you don't know how to speak that language. You're trying the best you can. But then once the door closed and you're back in the room, that's when all the mayhem breaks loose. Everything that you got going on in your personal life, everything that's in your mind, all of those things begin to surface. What is ever going on with you, and then you have to sit there and deal with that damn near to daylight, till somebody else wake up, because you know you just sitting there in complete silence. You got to deal with the jet lag, all of this other stuff. So it's not easy,
Yeah.
but it's something to do.
So
Absolutely.
how do you relax? What do you do to relax besides do a little marijuana?
Oh no, I do that. That ain't even for relaxing. That's for me.
I just meant that. I was just picking on you on that one.
No,
So what do you do to relax?
I tell jokes, man. Man. I call my friends and stuff, and that's how I relax. Checking in on people, making sure they doing all right. You know, anybody know me? I'll tell you hello, good morning, and see what's going on, and I try to keep that up. You know, that make me feel good. That another way I relax is just simply um, turning off everything. No music, no TV, no nothing. Just sit there and think. I do a lot of reading, you know, read books like 1491, 1492. They came before Columbus, the Jewish pirates of the Caribbean. I'm talking about these things relaxing my mind, you know. Um, that's and garden. I love the garden. I love working on
Ooh, what do you have in your garden?
tomatoes, you know, tomatoes, greens, peppers, okra. You know, the common things that we like.
Right. Right. I did not know that. All
Yeah.
right.
And I
I
like,
I might need to dip in that garden.
yeah, and I like to cook. See, we're gonna have to do something, city jazz session, barbecue or something.
so how do you
There
make
you go.
okra eatable? I
Yeah.
just cannot take okra. How do you make it eatable?
Well, there's a little secret to not make it slimy, besides frying it.
Uh-huh.
But you
You can
got to add
roast it.
something, you got to add a little something in that water. I can't give you my secret now.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was
I'll
coming.
make you a little bit, and then you tell me
You have to
if
tell me.
it's good or not.
Okay,
But
I
no,
struggle with okra.
you can roast it and then it's more crunchy.
No, 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 no. Well, I like okra. You know, me and my cousin was sitting at the table one day. My big cousin, he looked at me. He said, "Cuz, I like boiled okra. I like fried okra." I guess he couldn't think of nothing else. He said, "Hell, I just love okra." So that's
It's
how.
good.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
good for you too.
Yeah.
Um,
My grandma told me one time. She said, "Boy," she said, "I'll beat your tail to your nose rope like okra." I said, "Oh man, let me straighten up."
that's too much.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Warren, did you have any questions? We've got Warren in the background, and then we're
Yeah,
gonna go ahead and wrap it up because we value your time and we're so just appreciative for you joining us.
yeah, yeah. It's really been great, Marquise. One question: you said that your grandmother taught you guitar.
Hmm.
Now, what level was she? Was she like professional, or she just knew a little bit? Or...
No, she would be considered professional for the day and time. You know, they used to do house party. You know how that go back in the day.
Mhm.
Friday evening, come out those fields. You know, you had those parties. You know, like she said, they were playing with white folks and black folks. So my folks were really hustling back there in the woods.
Okay.
And my great uncle, who was her brother, he was born in 1929. Uncle Clifford played the guitar so good. He didn't have to pick cotton on Thursday and Friday. He picked cotton Monday through Wednesday. You know,
Wow.
Thursday, you know, Clifford gone, you know, he going to make him some money. And so that's where I learned. And she knew at the time, I didn't think they knew much.
Mm.
It was after I started learning, got out here and started playing, everybody said, oh man, we like that stuff. And then I started diving deep into the blues, and I come back to it, and I said, wait a minute. My
So
grandma,
was she mostly by ear too?
most
Or...
all by ear, all by ear, all by ear.
Gotcha.
You know, and it was just subsequently they learned one day their dad had a guitar in the house, and they would take turns passing it around, and somebody broke the string. And so he come home, and they gonna try to, you know, play dumb. And he, you know, brought the guitar out and told them, you know, somebody better play something, you know, before we tear this house up. And they all, you know, they all started playing. My grandma, very smart woman, you know, they used to take Mr. T was the white man farm they stayed on. They used to creep over to the watermelon patch and steal his watermelon. Well, Mr. T came over and told Granddad, he said, I don't want you to jump on them kids, but I want you to know they taking my watermelon. And Grandma said they got a whooping. She said the next time they got ready to steal watermelon, she said the old people would take the shoes and throw them up underneath the porch. She said they take the grown folk shoes and put them on and walk right back out to the watermelon patches, take the watermelon, come back eat it. Said Mr. T come back and said, you know, I think I had you get on them kids. Well, now there's something wrong. A joke.
Oh my God.
Oh, those are smart kids, huh?
So
yeah.
BB King had Lucille. Did you name your guitar?
No. I don't got no name for, not at all.
You got a favorite guitar? I'm sure you have more than one.
I
Or
got
do you
a
have
couple
more than one?
favorites. I got Epiphone BB King Lucille. It was my god brother's guitar. My god brother sold it to my grandmother, which I was trying to buy it. And then when my grandmother passed away, it became my guitar. I got BB King to sign and the signature rubbed off of it, but that's one of my favorite guitars. And I also got another guitar. It's called a Supro. My uncle brought it in 1967, selling candy for $13, and it went back and forth. My grandfather sold it to Uncle Clifford for 4 tires, and then he sold it back to Uncle Clifford for some tires. And finally, Uncle Clifford brought it back to my grandmother sometime in like 96 or 97. And hence, it was like 2000 when I learned how to play the guitar, and it was on that same exact guitar. So that's happened to be one of my favorites.
It's on you, Laker.
We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, Marquise.
Thank you.
So excited for, everything that you have coming up and all the amazing things that you're doing. I'm just excited to see what's next.
All right. I appreciate you all so much.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate
Man, I
having you,
really
brother.
appreciate and enjoyed having you here.
City Jazz Sessions is brought to you by St. Louis City Jazz, a 501c3 company dedicated to music education and appreciation. The CEO is Magic Man 50, and for more ways to connect with City Jazz Sessions, visit cityjazzsessions.wixsite.com/St. Louis. The City Jazz Sessions team includes host, content director, and guest coordinator, jazz great Ronnie Barrage. Follow Ronnie at ronniebarrage.biz. Host, website designer, graphic artist, content director, and guest coordinator, singing sensation Laika. Discover more about Laika at laikamusic.com. Additional production services are provided by Lions Den Productions. Go to thelionsdenstl.wixsite.com/home. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more great content.